The frontal deltoid is the most overtrained muscle in the world. The front delt gets adequately hit on essentially all of the horizontal push/pressing exercises like the push-up. But on top of this, it also gets hammered on a bunch of vertical pressing exercises for some reason, and I don't actually know why this is exactly. Any vertical pressing also targets the medial or middle head of the shoulder, of course. And the medial deltoid is really the only head of the shoulder which doesn't just get hit by doing, horizontal pushing and pressing, as the rear deltoid gets adequately hit by just doing any compound pulling movement, really, whether that be pull-ups, chin-ups, or any row. The best exercise for the medial deltoid is not a vertical press though. It would instead be some sort of a lateral raise exercise where you raise your shoulders out to the side. So the vertical push or press just kind of goes into this category of being unnecessary for me, or actually overkill, as it just trains your front delt far more than is necessary or even appealing aesthetically actually. The frontal delt typically just ends up becoming overdeveloped as compared to the other two heads of the shoulder. The only reason you'd ever want to do a vertical press, in my opinion, would be if you were to compete in some sort of powerlifting meet or the like, where you have to compete in a vertical press. But apart from this, I don't think it makes any sense. I have actually myself done a lot of vertical pressing though, although I actually regret doing this to this day. And I actually also did vertical pressing at the expense of doing any lateral raise movement, with the medial head actually being the head of the shoulder I was the most interested in working. But for some reason I just kept doing vertical pressing. For the average person though, who just wants to get in amazing shape, I don't think doing any direct shoulder work whatsoever is necessary at all, honestly. Some sort of horizontal push, like the push-up, would be enough, especially if you're not interested in things like bodybuilding and the small details of the body's aesthetic development. The summary of this video is that vertical pressing is unnecessary because it primarily targets the front deltoid, which already gets enough work for growth by just doing horizontal pressing like the push-up, the bench press, whatever. But also isn't the best exercise for targeting the medial deltoid, which works as a secondary muscle in a vertical press. Hence, there is rarely any point in doing this exercise in my opinion. You want to do lateral raises instead if you want to train the medial head of the shoulder, and you don't really want to spend any time at all training shoulders and instead just focus on horizontal pressing like the push-up if you just want to get in amazing shape but don't care about the tiny details of stuff like bodybuilding, right?